It's another smoggy morning here in the national capital. Delhiites are clearly battling an air emergency, and that's why the Supreme Court is likely to hear the pollution matter that has most of North India gasping for clean air. Like every year, the national capital has been engulfed in a thick layer of smog due to stubble burning in neighbouring states and unfavourable meteorological conditions. Amid the crisis, the Delhi government has called a meeting of all departments at noon to discuss ways to reduce Delhi's share of pollution. Delhi's Environment Department, the Pollution Control Committee, the Delhi Development Authority, the Public Works Department and municipal corporations, all of them will be attending this meeting.
कल तक का जो डाटा है वो 32,734 हैं इंसिडेंट्स आए हैं फायर इंसिडेंट्स हाँ पूरे पंजाब में लास्ट 2 दिनों में एवरेज 5,000 आ रहे हैं एक दिन के कल आए हैं हाँ 5
इसमें जुर्माना कितना लगा अभी तक और
इसी 43 lakh.
Now, with Delhi's air still toxic, people with prevailing respiratory problems are clearly the worst hit. Doctors have reported a huge increase in the number of patients who are complaining right now of respiratory trouble.
Ruchika is recovering from an asthma attack. On 4th of November, the night of Diwali, she started to choke and was unable to breathe.
It started 2 to 3 days prior Diwali, and because of the air quality and people were bursting crackers and all, so I started getting cough and little bit wheezing also. But on Diwali, when I had stepped out for like 15 minutes just to my mother's house, had gone, that too in the car, and when I came back, I had such a very bad attack of cough which wasn't stopping. And they don't do
her usual air compressor failed. The nebulizer they had to buy did not suffice. Ruchika's husband, Siddharth, then rushed her to a hospital pharmacy, got a doctor on call on emergency, and managed to eventually save his wife in the nick of time.
She threw her mask off and she said, "Get me hospitalized," because she was gasping for breath. Mercifully, we managed to get a doctor's consult on the phone. And there was only one hospital which had medicines because all standalone pharmacies did not
You rushed to a hospital also?
Yes, we had to rush to a hospital to buy the medicines. But she had already said that take me to a hospital. This was the worst.
This was the worst.
We've had pollution. She's had asthma attacks earlier. We've managed that. But there's never been the situation that she said take me to the hospital right now.
Doctors say they were receiving a higher number of complaints this year and long before the festival even arrived. Their patients range from children to adults complaining of pollution-related issues.
We are certainly seeing a significant increase in pollution-related effects. And I, as an ear, nose and throat specialist, have seen an increased presentation of patients with things like nasal irritation, runny nose, sinusitis, sore throats, throat irritation, and then extending to burning eyes, itchy skin. So these are, and this sudden increase in the last few days can only be because of the increase in the pollution levels in our air.
Activists have a word of caution. They say that firecrackers are just a soft target, whereas politicians are ignoring bigger causes and are deflecting due to their respective vote bank.
Industry is another big polluter. You can see chimneys blowing there. And then everything, all the multi-storied, everything is AC built. Idea is not to shift the problem, idea is to solve the problem. And for that, we need very strict measures, not these seasonal ban crackers and this is not going to happen.
So what are the reasons behind this mess? Pollution from the industries, stubble burning by farmers in neighboring states, the changes in wind movement and also in the farming nature and new crops that are being sowed but on a different timeline. Dust pollution from construction activities, specifically unabated deforestation and poor infrastructure planning in a city where the population has increased manifold in the past few years. And contributing to these big factors is the air pollution from vehicles and the seasonal and occasional firecrackers. Just about 10 years ago, Delhi residents would await and welcome a beautiful winter season and its winter fog. But today, there is a white, thick smog in the air that we are breathing. There is this white froth in the water bodies that have now got completely polluted. Are we losing out on a political will that would have backed on scientific data and taken into confidence citizen initiatives? Or have we lost the Dilli Dilwalon ki once and forever? Has our environment here in the capital city of the country changed forever? With Kripal Singh, Pooja Shali for India Today.
While India is still dealing with the COVID, the dengue outbreak is now also piling on. Cases across states are rising. It's not just limited to the national capital, and that's why experts warn that dengue could be the next health emergency. The capital itself has registered over 1,100 dengue cases in just the first week of November. In Delhi, you've got dengue cases at 2,700 and counting. Hospitals clearly are overburdened and the crisis is only getting worse. Anisha Mathur and Amit Bharadwaj filed this report from Delhi.
Delhi is facing another health emergency. The city has recorded 1,171 dengue cases in just 7 days, taking the total tally to 2,708 for 2021. 9 people have succumbed to dengue in the last 3 weeks. Hospitalization has surged in the Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan Hospital, with more patients trickling in every day.
This is the dedicated dengue ward where you could see the patients are admitted and their attendants are sitting right next to them. These are, if I'm not wrong, these are saline bottles which they are being administered with. And these are the critical care patients, by the way, because most of the patients, 80% of the patients do not need hospitalization.
यहाँ का जो स्टाफ है, जो साफ सफाई क्लीनिंग करता है, उनकी रक्षा करता है, वो सही काम नहीं कर रहा है यहाँ का.
बहुत बुरी हालत थी. अब भाई हमारा खड़ा हुआ है अपने पैरों पर, बढ़िया शीट चली है, बिल्कुल ओके रिपोर्ट में पे, मतलब सही देखभाल हुई है भाई की हमारी.
मेडिकल व्यवस्थाएं हैं यहाँ पे, वो ठीक थी या उसमें कोई कमी थी?
नहीं, सारी सुविधा थी, अच्छी थी सारी सुविधाएं सही. अब तो बहुत आराम, मेरी लड़की सही है.
While there's a spike in dengue cases, doctors say not all patients need to be admitted to a hospital.
The large number of dengue patients are asymptomatic. More than 95% don't require hospitalization. So if you have a simple viral fever and platelet count more than 50,000, most of these patients recover. But if platelet count is less than 20,000, if they have bleeding manifestation or if blood pressure is low, then they require hospitalization. And as I told you, that majority of the patients can be treated at home.
The inflow of dengue patients is not just at the big hospitals. Even smaller clinics are feeling the heat. In Greater Kailash, Dr. Mohsen Wali has a steady stream of patients coming in.
He got infected 1 week back, fever was there. So one of the doctor advised her to get him hospitalized as the platelet count was very low. So he treated my father through the fluid treatments. Yes. And within 4 days, the count was 36,000 and from 36,000, it will go to 1 lakh. In just 4 days, he get better a lot.
Dr. Wali says early diagnosis is the key to beating the disease.
When you have a body ache, because this is called bone breaking fever, you have severe body ache, retroorbital ache, which is called pain behind the eyes, muscular pains, shivering little bit, and sudden fever, high fever, then you clinically can go for a dengue test, number one. Number two, the sooner you get diagnosed, start taking off plenty of fluids. Fluids is the best component to treat because intravenously also we give fluids.
More than 1,100 new cases of dengue in the national capital as Delhi sees its highest dengue spread in the last 4 years. Experts warn that there may be more cases coming because of the late rain and waterlogging across the city. People are being warned to ensure that they keep their entire bodies covered, prevent the growth of mosquitoes, and if there is a fever or body ache, to get tested as soon as possible. In New Delhi, this is Anisha Mathur for India Today.
Let's get you details of the situation currently in Chennai, which over the weekend saw torrential rainfall. A light downpour continues right now in the city that saw the heaviest rainfall on Sunday since 2015. The Met Department has predicted more rain in the coming days. It's issued an orange alert right now in 14 districts, including Chennai. Robotics machines are being used in the very crucial Nandanam signal to clear waterlogged areas. 4 teams of the NDRF had been deployed to assist in rescue operations in case of any emergencies. 58 relief camps have been set up across Chennai also to accommodate those affected. A holiday has already been declared for schools and colleges in Chennai, in Tiruvallur, Kanchipuram and Chengalpet districts for today. Now, the gravity of the crisis can be understood by the fact that Marina Beach, that normally is filled with people, is now empty and completely inundated. What we can tell you about the latest update is that so far there's been no heavy rain last night or last evening. Today too, the forecast is that there will be small intermittent showers, but there's a worry that there will be heavy rain that hits Chennai again tomorrow and day after. A nightmare weekend for Chennaiites. Record rainfall meant unprecedented flooding on the streets of Chennai. And people stuck in their homes hoped and prayed that things don't get worse. Their prayers for now have been answered. After the storm came the calm, even if only a temporary one. With no rainfall on Sunday night and Monday, the focus shifted to rescue and rehabilitation.
Due to incessant rain in the city of Chennai alone, 1 lakh people have suffered and they are being provided relief materials, that is like bed sheets, food and medicine and shelter as well. At such a location in North Chennai, you could see currently the Chief Minister over here. He is providing relief materials to the people who have been placed in the shelter. As we speak, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin, is sharing food. He's actually serving food for them. Blankets are also being provided and also bread is being provided at this point, at this location. Now the Chief Minister has also instructed his party cadres, that is DMK cadres, to help people as much as possible at this location. And North Chennai seems to be one of the locations that has been very badly affected because of Saturday night rain. And this is where the state government and various other officials are on the ground trying to help people.
Water levels slowly receded from low-lying areas as locals finally managed to get out of their homes.
At Velachery, where we're currently standing at, there has been barricading which has been done by the corporation. This was a measure to ensure that people are safe and don't go into the risky zone. We can see here that there is a groundwater canal work that is still underway and water is flowing via the channel. Last evening and yesterday morning we had seen heavy waterlogging in all these premises, but now water has receded.
Yeah, it's a very much worrying factor. Even yesterday night also when we slept, before going for sleep, I came out and seen what's outside and whether it's going to be horrible like last 2015 or so everybody is worried. Even now we are having experienced the earlier one. Now we are trying to be safe on that.
But there are many parts of Chennai that are still drowning.
This location in Chennai called as T Nagar, water stagnation is prevalent, and not just that, in this long, huge street, you could see water stagnation up to a foot.
vehicles are finding it very difficult to ply at this point. Two-wheelers are struggling. Several two-wheelers we saw actually stop at midway itself. People even after that are plying to this because they have to go to work, they have to do essential services.
They should have worked it out before the rains. But yes, yesterday we had a seepage into the house and we called in corporation guys and they came and did a little bit of work. But again, you see there's a lot of water clogging all over here. But this area is prone for water clogging.
While there's been some respite from the rain, weather experts have warned it's a temporary one, with a forecast for heavy rain on Tuesday.
Today we would have a good reduction in the rainfall, but that is only going to be a temporary phenomenon because tomorrow again we will start seeing an increase in rainfall. But in the coming days, possibly we are going to see the effect of the low pressure. So we would have long, sustained spell of rains rather than the more intense short duration spells.
The state government is taking all steps to be prepared for the next spell. However, with the reservoirs running full, there is a fear of a deluge in Chennai is inevitable. A deluge in the coming days or weeks. With videos Divyan, Daniel and correspondent Akshayanath, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
The crisis for Congress in Punjab continues. There's an open tussle between Navjot Singh Sidhu and Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi. The Congress, amid that, held a meeting with leaders of both camps, both the Sidhu and Channi camps, to firefight the crisis. The party high command has directed both leaders to end the deadlock. This meeting comes after Sidhu renewed his attack on Chief Minister Channi over the sacrilege cases. The Punjab Congress chief questioned the SIT's probe into the sacrilege case. Sidhu asked why no progress has been made in the drugs case despite the formation of the probe team 6 months ago. Sidhu and Channi have locked horns repeatedly in the recent past. Sidhu was upset, for example, over the appointment of Sukhjinder Randhawa as the Punjab Deputy Chief Minister. He also questioned the appointment of IPS Sahota as the Advocate General.
ਜਿਹੜੀ ਡਰੱਗ ਵਾਲੀ ਕੇਸ ਦੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਖੋਲਣਾ ਐਥੀਕਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਮਾਲ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਉਡੀਕਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਸਾਲ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਉਡੀਕਦਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੌਣ ਰੋਕਦਾ ਭਾਈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਕਰੋ ਉਹ ਕੋਰਟ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੈਕਟਰੀ ਨੇ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੈ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਜਨਤਕ ਕੀ ਤੋਂ ਡਰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀ ਘਬਰਾਹਟ ਹੈ
Civilians are under attack in Srinagar once again. Here's an incident of a terrorist targeting a civilian named Mohammed Ibrahim. He was an employee of a Kashmiri Pandit businessman. Ibrahim was shot at by gun-wielding terrorists in Srinagar's Borikatl area. The victim has sustained critical injuries and has been admitted to a local hospital. The businessman, by the name of Sandeep Mawa, owns a shop in the Zaina Kadal area. Mawa is related to Makkanlal Bindro, a pharmacy owner who was shot dead by terrorists in October. Sandeep Mawa's father, Roshan Lal Mawa, who ran a spice business nearly 3 decades ago, was also attacked by terrorists outside his shop back in 1990. Roshan Mawa had suffered 4 bullet wounds in the attack. The family, after many years, had actually reopened their business only in 2019. Police investigation is underway. The area has now been cordoned off for search operations to identify and nab the terrorists. The drug saga nightmare is far from over for Shah Rukh Khan. His son Aryan Khan was summoned on Sunday to be a part of the NCB investigation. Citing ill health, however, Aryan skipped the summon, even as SRK's manager Pooja Dadlani has now been roped in by the Mumbai police in their investigation into the extortion charges against Sameer Wankide.
Shah Rukh Khan's life has been thrown upside down by the drug case. First, his son Aryan Khan arrested and then released on bail. And now his go-to person, his closest aide, is in the dock. Pooja Dadlani has been summoned by the Mumbai police in the extortion case now after witness Prabhakar Sahil alleged that Pooja Dadlani met with Kiran Gosavi to negotiate Aryan Khan's release in exchange for 25 crore rupees on behalf of the NCB's Sameer Wankhede.
गाड़ी में इतना ही चल रहा था कि 25 का बॉन्ड डल, लास्ट 18 में फाइनल कर, 8 अपने को वानखेड़े को देना है, 10 अपने को बांट लेना है करके.
Pooja Dadlani won't appear before Mumbai police anytime now, citing illness to seek more time from the cops. She was asked to appear before Mumbai police officials on Saturday, but so far she hasn't turned up. It's been a traumatizing weekend for the Khans, as it was not only Dadlani but Aryan Khan was also summoned.
Aryan Khan also put forth a similar reason to skip NCB summons in the drug case investigation on Sunday. Shah Rukh's son was to appear before the agency on Sunday, but it was a no-show. He cited a slight fever to duck the summons. This case has seen one twist after another. The latest one, a kidnapping angle introduced by, you guessed it, Maharashtra Minister Nawab Malik, who has even demanded that superstar Shah Rukh should break his silence on this case.
पूरा मामला किडनैपिंग का और रैंसम का है और किडनैप करके 25 करोड़ की फिरौती मांगने का खेल शुरू हुआ.
The drug case saga is clearly far from over for Shah Rukh and family. One of Aryan Khan's bail conditions is that he cooperates with the Narcotics Control Bureau, so he cannot afford to skip summons indefinitely and will at some point have to join the investigation in person. With Divyesh Singh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
And with that, I'm slipping into a short break here on First Up. Stay with us here on India Today. I'll be getting you all the latest news and updates. For the moment, thank you for watching. Have a great day.